Hello, everyone. This is Julie HR, and welcome to the second weekly HR Education Edge weekly update. Today, I'll be going over this week's weekly HR news, trends, and compliance deadlines. Today is Sunday, December the 29th. And thank you for joining us. I hope you were able to see December 22nd's weekly update. Today's topics, what we will be going over. Number one is compliance changes. Yes, there are 140 compliance changes that will be going into effect across the United States and various states. And we're going to take a deeper dive and we're going to look at various states. Which will help you out. We're going to also review the new rules for the H-1B visa and the H-2 visa programs. And then we're going to go review some other key HR action items that you should get your hands wrapped around before the end of the year. So let's go ahead and take a look. Compliance. As mentioned, more than 140 compliance changes go into effect around January 1. Yes, and there are 60 plus minimum wage increases, which affects 20 states and just dozens of localities. And, me being an HR professional, I wanted to take a look and, I deal with employers across all the United States. So I keep up with the changes. So I have created a list and I'm just going to go through this list very quickly. You can go back on the video and take a look and see what the changes are in your state, if there are any. So I'm going to zoom out and go to a Word document. Hold on just a second. All right. Compliance changes. Okay. These are the compliance changes. For the federal, here's federal, and then it goes down through the states. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these. I want you to be able to take a look at them, and then you can go back on the video and actually see what the change is. And more than likely, you're an HR professional, you're ahead of the game. You already know most of this, and you've already got it in your handbooks. You've already got the posters up. I'm confident that most of these compliance changes are nothing new to you. From a federal standpoint, we mentioned this last week, Healthcare Benefits, Department of Labor, HHS, and IRS mental health parity final rules take effect. HIPAA privacy rule amendment prohibits disclosure of reproductive health, and that was on December 23rd, 2024. And then as mentioned last week, their IRS increased business vehicle standard mileage rate. And so it went from 67 cents up to 70 cents. Now, I have listed out state by state. I'm going to go through it pretty quickly. Take a look. Your state may or may not be on here, but these are effective in January. See the effective dates over here, and the states are in red. And these are compliance changes to include Alaska, minimum salary, workers' compensation reemployment benefits. California has child labor, crime victim discrimination, employee classification, FMLA, leave, jury duty, labor relations, minimum wage, privacy, paid sick leave, recruiting and hiring, and workplace violence, compliance topics to deal with. Colorado, you'll see employee classification, overtime, workplace safety, paid family medical leave. Connecticut, there's just one, and it has to do with paid sick leave law. Delaware, there's two, as you'll see. Illinois, there's quite a few: child labor, discrimination, immigration, recruiting and hiring, military leave, pay statements, payroll taxes, personnel records. And these are all compliance issues that you should be aware of if this is your state. Indiana, just one, effective January 1, Indiana, child labor amendments take effect. Iowa, 2, health care benefits privacy. Kentucky, health care and medical marijuana. Kentucky legalizes medical marijuana. Louisiana, just one, Louisiana reduces unemployment benefits. So you guys make sure you know that. Okay. Maine, employee classification. There's a lot of employee classifications on this list. And there's also the paid family medical leave. Minnesota, paid sick leave, paid transparency, and wage theft. Nebraska, there's 2. Take a look there. Nevada limits sub-minimum wages for providers of jobs and day training services. New Hampshire, there's 2. New York, there are 3 different ones. Take a look at that. Take a screenshot. Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, non-compete agreements, Rhode Island, and lastly, Washington. So everybody got a really good look at all those. Hope that helps you, and I'm sure you're already ahead of the game in your compliance within your organizations. But these go into effect, aside from this HIPAA one, January 1. I promise to keep you guys compliant. So, the United States is part of my duty. So with that being said, let's go back to the PowerPoint. All right. Federal and state workplace posters. So finally, many jurisdictions, as you probably know, update their workplace posters annually. So you're going to need to take the time to ensure you are using the most current version of any applicable federal, state, and local posters. And as far as federal posters go, this link right here, I'll just click on it, takes you to workplace posters. And this is for federal. And it is a wealth of knowledge, and it will help you out tremendously. I was able to pull some federal employment law posters. I created a little spreadsheet here where I'm sure you have most of these. It depends on what type of employee you are. I'm going to look at this one right here in particular. Required for all or most employers. So know your rights. Workplace discrimination is illegal poster. Employee polygraph protection poster. You probably already have this in your employee break rooms. I already know you do. So make sure that you go to that particular link and make sure you update your posters. But also take note, I've noticed there's some OSHA ones too. Protect yourself, cleaning, chemicals, health poster. And then there's also a heat illness one. I don't know if you have that or not. It's not recommended, but it's recommended, but not required. But obviously I'm a big safety person. So definitely give your employees the knowledge they need as far as it pertains to OSHA. So let's go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so you're squared away with federal posters. What about state posters? I'm going to move this really quick. 1 second. Sorry about that. State-specific posters, it's advisable to consult your State Department of Labor website. That's pretty important to do. However, there are some links to help you out with that to keep you compliant. But we'll jump back to that, but we're going to go on to employee handbooks, okay? We talked a little bit about employee handbook changes, and we're going to take a look at the federal ones right now. I'm going to zoom on out and go to my Word document here. And thank you for joining me. This is my second weekly video, so I appreciate the patience you're giving me and also the feedback you're giving me on what you need, what you don't need, what you want to see more of. And I will be working just as hard as I can to help you and equip you, each and every week. Okay, as mentioned in your handbooks, I'm sure you have put this is a national one, pregnancy accommodation handbook statement. The lactation accommodation handbook statement. This is a national, and it's actually in my Etsy store. The 2025 handbook has these in there. And there's also the sexual and other harassment items that need to be updated. Sexual and or harassment if you have 15 plus more employees handbook statement. I went and I actually looked for you guys, like where you could go to see, hey, where can I find a great, some great details on, what are some of my state changes? Well, number one, you probably already know what some of the state changes are to your handbook. You're probably in the know. Always, consult your attorney and, of course, stay very involved with your SHRM organization within your state and, online or whatnot. But I found this particular employmentlawhandbook.com to be very useful. And I actually went to it and it actually took me to, some of the changes, but then it also took me to some of the posters. So as we're looking at compliance, this to me, even though it had a lot of ads and whatnot, it seemed to be like a pretty good resource. So, as always, do your own research, and I'm sure you have your own resources and your attorneys, as you should. But that was one that I came across as it pertained to state. So we're going to go back here. Let's see if I can get it to start from right here. We'll go through this one more time. Okay, so we talked about the quick state-by-state review where I showed you the various compliance changes by state. Hopefully you got that. But you know that the federal and state workplace posters need to be updated, and you know the link to go to, Department of Labor. State posters, go to your Department of State, Department of Labor website, or as mentioned, go to the federal and state changes. Actually, I went to, as far as employee handbooks are concerned, I went to this link and it gave me links to posters that needed to be going up for particular states. It's a really pretty, as mentioned, it was a really good website. A lot of ads and whatnot, but it was a good website. Okay, moving right along. Okay, as far as the new rules for the H1B, H2 programs, and I'm just going to kind of read this, on December the 18th, 2 final rules overhauling the H1B and H2 visa programs, effective, now this is effective January 17, okay? The H-1B rule modernizes visa eligibility, enhances worker protections, and codifies existing policy. And with the H-2 rule, which speaks to those seasonal employees, and if you're in the hospitality industry, which I was a long time ago, you will know a little bit more about the H-2. Here are some key points. Educational criteria, deference to prior approvals, student graduate protections, fraud detection, but bottom line, you're going to have an updated I-129 form, which is the new form required for all H-1B petitions starting January 17th. So that's a big thing there. You've got to use this new form, but of course, I'm sure you probably already know this. Also, key points for the H2, enhanced worker rights, compliance requirements, expanded access. And as mentioned, there are some implications. Employers gain regulatory consistency and flexibility. There's stronger worker protections for both visa categories, but as you know, there is a potential for congressional repeal or revision with the new incoming administration on the 20th. And keep in mind, this is effective January 17th. The new administration comes in on the 20th. So just kind of stay posted. And of course, I'll keep my eye on it as far as the H-1B and H-2 program, H-1B and H-2 programs go. Okay. And last but not least, I just kind of wanted to go over some additional items that I've discussed in the past that you need to make sure that you have checked off of your list, or if anything, perhaps I'm giving you some ideas maybe you haven't thought of, or whatnot, to just kind of close out your year, or maybe to implement in the new year. I made a spreadsheet, and these were some of the things. We mentioned the vehicle reimbursement, the change. So you might want to change up your reimbursement policy, or your vehicle policy expense report. Don't forget I'm sure your payroll department, or who maybe your benefits person is. The 401k deferral amount increases, I think, by $500, and there's also a catch up for individuals, I think, between the ages of 60 and 62. Also, you should be making sure that everybody's W-2 and 1099 is getting squared away, and you've got the right addresses, because those will be going out at the end of January. Benefits reconciliation. I'm sure you're already doing that, especially if you had open enrollment. You may want to send an email out to your employees, or maybe your insurance broker is, just kind of reminding them, hey guys, you may not have received because there are a lot of individuals who, their insurance card comes in the mail, but you know what? You can actually go, and you don't want to be the person that has to go in and create all the insurance cards for all the employees who need new insurance cards. I know how that goes. So it would be great for you to be able to show your employees how to print out a new insurance card when it becomes effective January 1, if that indeed is the day that the new insurance starts for your employees. So be sure that you maybe send out an email about, hey guys, this is how you print out your new insurance card. Or number 2, hey guys, don't forget about your flexible spending account. This is maybe the balance, and this is how much you get to roll over, Okay. You might want to give them a heads up on that. Just maybe a quick email before you go out the door. Also, if you haven't already, in my Etsy store, I have a 2025 annual training plan calendar. It's a plan. It has about 14 pages where it's organized really nicely, actually, where there's critical training needs, training goals, objectives, resources. It allows you to put in like a budget, and kind of just pretty much lays out what the HR annual training plan entails. And it's very, very helpful. And it's been very helpful for me in the past, and also allowed me to keep, all departments in line as far as their training was concerned. As mentioned, I remind employees about FSA funds and rollover. Another thing I thought about, and I haven't mentioned it, but I want you to make a note of it. Take a look at your 2024 exit interviews. Take a look. What was the trend? Why are people leaving? Exit interviews can open up your eyes, and it can give you insight into what's the possible issue and why employees are leaving your organization. So if you're not already doing exit interviews, I'd encourage you to start doing that, because they are trust me, a wealth of information, and they could actually save you a lot of money if you're able to put in new resources or whatnot to curb the employees that are leaving. Also update payroll tax rates. And this is payroll. Your payroll department probably already has this under control, but you're probably over the payroll department. And wage-based rates for 2025, or maybe you have it, or maybe or maybe you outsource it to Paychecks. I'm not sure. Also communicate any new PTO policies or balances. I know a lot of people towards the end of the year, they get sometimes confused on PTO, time off, just with all the changes. Make sure you keep your employees in the know if there are any changes, because their time off is very important and whatnot. I also included some of my templates, just covers. I would say, as a goal for the next year, start thinking about your managers. Your managers are so key to your organization. They are the ones who help hire, help fire, help discipline. These managers, they conduct performance reviews. They are on your side, and the more you train your managers, the easier your life as an HR professional will be. Trust me. Trust me. You just have to give them the tools. I mean, as an HR person, you know your stuff. You know how to hire. You know how to screen. You know how to deal with people and communicate. However, there's a lot of managers, I must say, that haven't been given the opportunities to learn leadership skills. And so these two books right here, Team Leadership for Managers and Leadership for Managers Workbook, it actually has lessons in there where I would encourage, I mean, the manager can do it on their own, or perhaps maybe it can be a manager entire class, and you do like one lesson a week. But it helps put them in a leader mindset, helps them build trust and credibility with their team. It challenges their emotional intelligence. And like I said, managers, they can make your life so much easier, and they can also prevent turnover. That you want to make sure you train your managers. I also included an engagement calendar because employee engagement should, like I said, should be laser focused this year within your organization. And also here is the importance of employee wellness in the workplace ebook that I created. All of this is on my Etsy site. And I know that was really super fast, but if you have any questions, please let me know. This is only my second week. So please let me know what maybe you want me to focus on a little bit more, because I know I tried to cover a lot because it is the end of the year, and I did give all the state, compliance and whatnot. I won't be doing all that because it's not going to be the end of the year anymore. It'll be a new year, so we can look at some new things with fresh eyes. But I thank you so much for joining me for this second weekly update. And as always, be sure to subscribe and like on my YouTube so you can get this every week. Maybe you can, like in the morning when you wake up on Monday mornings, because I always record it on Sunday nights, you can just kind of go over it, and it can kind of prep you for the week before you actually go into the office and be like, okay, this is what's going on in the world, in the legal world of HR. Here's my Instagram if you want to. I'd love for you to be an Instagram friend of mine. And here's my Etsy shop, and then of course my website, which just tells a little bit about me, and it has a lot of the videos that are already on YouTube. But be sure to subscribe and like, and thank you so much. I welcome your feedback, and I'm really grateful for your support. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful new year.